promises you've made that you must fulfill within the month. If you made those promises to others or to yourself, you have 2 days, not even up to 2 days, a couple of hours actually, to fulfill those promises. I'll come see you in October. I will call you. Or big promises like I will change your life. You still have a little over 24 hours to fulfill those promises. Else, you, like many politicians, will be considered a liar, especially if you told those lies to yourself. Don't Cry for Me, Argentina by Madonna. My goodness, iconic, legendary even. Some call her the queen of pop. They're not exactly wrong, and she delivers every single time. Well, it's Hard Facts in 92.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Sam Chinedu. And as always, we start with the big stories. We have a few of them. The president has reviewed the pardon list. Some names have been taken off. President Tinubu delists persons convicted of severe crimes from that list. Timipre Sylva denies involvement in a coup attempt. And Rivers government clears salary backlog for newly employed health workers. At 4 o'clock, we'll be talking power generation, transmission, and distribution. The federal government is pushing for states to be responsible for their power. So moving forward, when power is restored, you will no longer shout up NEPA. You might as well shout up River State, or just call the governor's name. Hail Sir Sim Fubara. Well, that's if states take the initiative, of course. They've been told that according to the provisions of the Electricity Act of 2023, the states are very free to start doing the business of generating their own power because Abuja is tired. The minister didn't say those words, but he kind of suggested it. And at 5 o'clock, we'll be testing your nationality, the authenticity of your Nigerianness. How Nigerian are you? I'll ask a simple question, and if your answer is no, then you just might be living in this country without actually being a citizen. You never can tell. So who stands a chance and who stands a risk? We'll find out at 5. Coming up at 6 is the major news. After that, it's open season. Stay with us.
When
Sam Chinedu here. We begin, as always, at the very beginning. President Bola Tinubu has removed the names of individuals convicted of severe crimes, including kidnapping, drug offenses, human trafficking, fraud, and illegal possession of firearms or trafficking from the presidential pardon list. The president, in a statement by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says the decision follows consultations with the Council of State and public opinion on the matter. Onanuga says following the wide consultation, President Tinubu directed a further review of the initially approved list for consideration in furtherance of the president's discretionary powers under sections of the 1999 Constitution as amended. The pardon list generated reactions from various quarters as persons with very serious crimes were initially pardoned. Well, that has been rectified. Is this a feat that is worthy of an applause, or am I just looking for an excuse to clap for the president? Whether it's the former or the latter, we clap nonetheless. Well done, Mr. President. You are a listening president. When you said you had our best interests at heart, you meant it. And we cried, we complained. And you listened and reduced the list. Took out the criminals. Because indeed there were 7 times, so they were already criminals. But 2 quotes come to mind. The first, anything worth doing is worth doing well. The second, initiative is doing the right thing without being told. Now keep those 2 quotes in mind. With the pardon list, I can say very clearly, very boldly, that the presidency made an error. Yes, indeed, it was a mistake. An error that received resistance, not just from regular Nigerians that happen to be you and I, but even from government agencies. The EFCC, ICPC, NDLEA, and any other agency that worked to bring those criminals that made that list to justice considered it a slap on their faces. How would we work so hard, investigate, go through the process of prosecuting, and then by something the Constitution empowers the president, which is called the prerogative of mercy, these people get to walk free? Anybody would be pissed. Now, have you ever questioned the decision of an organization? Right? Say that there's a big company. Let's use the big companies of this world. If you're looking on a global scale, you're looking at Google, Facebook, right? You want to come down to Nigeria? Well, Dangote will have to make the cuts because he's making news these days. But a very big company. An organization that has access to expertise at the highest level, that gives advice. They have a board, they have advisors, they have multi-level professionals that guide in their decision making. So every time they take a step, they make a decision, you know that there have been wide consultations with those whose opinions matter professionally. But if such a company takes a decision that even someone who is not a professional would not take, it makes you question the structure and mechanism of that company. Now, this is for an organization. Let's talk about the presidency. For the prerogative of mercy, the president is assisted by the Presidential Advisory Committee on Prerogative of Mercy. So that committee exists to advise him for that particular exercise. And it is chaired by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. In other words, the number 1 lawyer in the country. The Nigerian Constitution explicitly requires the president to consult with the Council of State. And this council is made up of a blend of current and former political and judicial leaders. So all your former presidents, heads of state, leaders of government at different levels are in that Council of State. All the governors are in that Council of State. Those who have led the judiciary at the very top level are in that Council of State. With all the resources at the president's disposal, that list was still considered flawed. Let me paint a picture for you. If you hear that the top billionaires in the world, Dangote spoke to me, Adenuga spoke to me, Bua spoke to me, then the American branch, Bill Gates, flew in and spoke to me, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, you will not be surprised if after a few years or maybe a few months you hear that I am also a billionaire because of the kind of advice, the quality that I've been exposed to. But if I don't make it in life, you will say, so even upon everything we then tell you. That is why this sounds, the word will come to me, that with everything at the president's disposal, especially what the Constitution provides as the council, the kind of advice that the president would be exposed to before nominating people for pardon, Nigerians were still dissatisfied with that list for good reason. It can only mean two things. One, we cannot trust the sense of judgment of the Presidential Advisory and the Council of State. That means everybody that advises the president, it seems they don't really understand what they are doing. Or two, all of those processes are just academic. It doesn't matter. The president will still do what he wants. Now the president has reviewed the list. And it's not because someone on the council objected, but because Nigerians resisted. After all of that process, it came out. Nigeria said no. So at this point, you might say the average Nigerian is more qualified than the Council of State. Because we seem to know something they don't know. If they advise him and that's what he came out with, and we resisted and then he decided to do something, which obviously is better, then maybe we should also be Council of State because our advice, my goodness, it seems to be working better. So now, let's go back to those two quotes. The first, anything worth doing is worth doing well. The second, initiative is doing the right thing without being told. I hope they make more sense to you now. Moving on. The former Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Sylva, has finally responded to rumors that he's linked to a failed coup plot. A media aide to Sylva described the reports as false, even though the Nigerian military had already dismissed any such plot. In a statement released on Wednesday by Julius Bokoru, Sylva's special assistant on media and public affairs, says the rumors as false and politically motivated. He says the stories were spread by desperate politicians trying to push their ambitions ahead of the 2027 elections. Bokoru, however, confirmed that Sylva's home in Abuja was indeed raided by people believed to be operatives of the defense headquarters. He said the raid caused serious damage to the property and that officers gave no reason for their actions. Now, a follow-up to that, we've heard that there is a 45 billion naira that has been traced to the NDDC. But eventually, we'll make sense of all of that when there is a conclusion that works. But for this, I'd like to very quickly say, at this point, I don't think Nigerians are interested in the veracity of the coup attempt, whether it happened or it didn't happen. But they are more interested in what the rumor of it is causing. Because anything you feed grows. That's exactly how growth works. Whatever you feed will grow. In fact, you and I are the product of what we've been fed. Because they gave you good food. That's why you have grown like this. And we keep feeding this alleged coup attempt, right? We keep fanning the embers. Again, let me give you an example. We all went to school. You know how in school, secondary particularly, there are some stories and rumors that only exist among students. For example, you might hear that one teacher is dating another teacher. Right? Usually it's students that carry these stories. And they keep spreading it. You don't know whether or not to believe it, but it's a thing among students. Sometimes the students might have a special nickname for a teacher that the teacher and other teachers don't know. But among the students, if you mention that name, everybody knows what you're talking about. The day a teacher will somehow refer to that story, they've given it life. So if, in fact, I remember, I'm even glad I used this example. When I was in secondary school, there was a rumor. Well, unfortunately, in their case, we discovered it was not even a rumor, it was true. That our math teacher, who happens to be a young, sharp guy, very handsome, was dating one... I don't remember this incident because it didn't even end well for both of them. Was dating another teacher who a lot of people hated. Right? For some reason, that math teacher must have been the first math teacher in the world that students loved. Of course, people don't like their math teacher because math is designed to be difficult. So anybody that teaches it is naturally an enemy. But this man, for some reason, broke the record and was loved. Even me, we know to like maths. He was a cool guy, right? I won't say I liked him, but I didn't hate him. So students started saying that there's this other teacher that he was dating. And the reason why the fire was burning was because that female teacher, people hate, even me self. Oh, God, well, I'm older and now I know things. So I wanted to say God will deal with her, but there's no need. So, as long as students kept peddling that rumor, it was just okay. The day a fellow teacher, said something about it, they didn't confirm or debunk, but they just mentioned it. It showed us three things. One, the teachers are also aware of this rumor. Two, it might be true. Three, which is what eventually led to the problem they had. That rumor will not die down anytime soon because it has left the student community and gone up to management. That's what this coup attempt feels like. The military has denied. The presidency has refused. Right? It is Nigerians, in this case, let's say we are the students, that are still saying, no, it happened, it no happen. Why did the president change the service chiefs? Why? And we are just saying, he do, he no do, no problem. While the rumor is still within the student community, it's just as it is. We can be managing it. Now, people in those positions are beginning to say, I'm not among the coup attempt. In fact, even though the coup is a lie, but I want to clear the air. The minute a teacher also gives in to the rumors, you've made the student feel like they were telling the truth. And the truth is, you will never know unless you know. If somebody says to you, Sam Chinedu has $1 million, you would argue from what you have noticed. Not true. Oh, see the car when they drive, or see how in they dress, or see everything you would use to validate what you think is true is based on what you've observed. But unless you've seen my bank statement, only those who are in the inner circle, of course, my account officer, me that has the account, or whoever is privy to that information can verify that I have $1 million or I don't have it. So we can never really tell if that coup attempt actually happened. But guess what? The rumor that it happened is already doing the most dangerous damage it can cause. So Sylva coming out to say, and I was not involved. Yes, the government has denied, right? It's politicians, rumor mongers that want to tarnish it's not helping this rumor. So, new service chiefs have been appointed. They need to improve national security. That's the most important thing. Whether they were appointed because the president was tired or security was bad, the point is they are now the new service chiefs. And most importantly, I'm certain those who have the attention of the president must have told him the president needs to work on the reason why a coup attempt exists. the rumor, rather, of a coup attempt exists in the first place. And regardless of its veracity, fix that problem. Finally, there's a sigh of relief as the Rivers State government says it has paid all the salaries of newly employed health workers under the State Hospital Management Board. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Adeze Ore, said the delay in payment happened because biometric registration was stopped for some time after the declaration of emergency rule. Dr. Ore said even though the workers continued doing their jobs in different hospitals, they were not paid during that period. She added that Governor Siminalayi Fubara has now approved and completed all the outstanding payments up to October. So just like the president, the governor deserves this as well. Now, the reason why I decided that this headline was going to make the big stories, and of course you'd say, well, that's the job of the government. True. Nothing special here. Health workers who were supposed to be paid were owed, and now they've been paid. But the reason why it needs to make the big story is because when these workers complained about their salaries being owed, we also carried it on Nigeria Info. Right? We told the public. So now that there's an update to this story, it's also important to inform the public so that the last story you have is not that Rivers State was owing. As we highlight the problems in society, as we hold a mirror to society, as we say this is not working, when they start working, it's important we also let you know that this has been fixed. So that the latest information you have is not the old one. Let me quickly run through the complaint when it happened. Some newly employed staff of the Rivers State Hospital Management Board said they've not been paid salaries for 9 months. The workers tell our correspondent that 1,000 workers were posted to all 23 local government areas, but unlike their counterpart, the Rivers State University Teaching Hospital, they have yet to receive any payment. They said the hardship made life difficult for them because they complained about house rent and other things. So let's hear them quickly as we take calls.
A lot of us were posted to remote areas. Some people were posted to Iche, some people at Buguma, some people at Aokrika. I've been working for the past 9 months. I have not been paid. So I want to appeal to the governor. He's a governor that listens to the people. He should help us. Our counterpart that was employed at the same time with us in the Rivers State University Teaching Hospital has been paid. But it's unfortunate that the 1,000 newly employed staff by the Rivers State governor has not been paid till now. As it is now, a lot of us, our rent has expired. We cannot renew our rent. We cannot send our children to school. We cannot pay our children. Things has become so tough for us now.
We've done all the necessary requirements. We've done our biometric over 4 months ago. So our challenge now is that we don't even know where our problem is coming from. Because up to now, we've not gotten any single dime. And most of us are coming from different areas. You can imagine somebody paying all the way from Port Harcourt to Ishoku General Hospital. And at the end of the day, he doesn't get salary. It's really telling on us. So we are appealing.
Okay. So that's it. They appealed because he's a kind-hearted governor. I usually have problems with those positions. It's the job of the governor and the government to pay its workers. But we understand the emergency rule and the excuses given. So they complained, and now the government says they have been paid. If anybody has not received theirs, well, once again, I'm certain you can always come back to Nigeria Info to complain, and your voices will be heard. But well done to Rivers State government for clearing that problem. That's one less thing we would have to worry about. Well, it's time for you to be a part of this conversation. The numbers to call 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0003. WhatsApp is 080 903 06 416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. You can watch, listen, and engage. The big story is once again, the president delists persons convicted of serious crimes from the pardon list. Timipre Sylva denies involvement in a coup attempt, and Rivers government clears salary backlog for newly employed health workers. Ensure that you turn off your radio. Good afternoon to you, Sam. For the president reviewing the prerogative of mercy given to some persons that don't worth it, I applaud him. This is a welcome development. He has done sanity to the exercise. My honest take. Ipalibo Taylor Harry says. My first call is from Robin, who calls from Iche. Hello, Robin. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oracle,
Yep.
thank you so much.
Okay.
But on your side, you gave the president a clap. But for me, I will give the president and the presidency a knock. You have highlighted the process with which prerogative of mercy can be applied. And we have the you have looked through, or ought to have looked through, a man who has listened to that aspect. They didn't do that. And what they are quoting is even making me angry the more. They are saying that they have to reconsult National Council of State. Yes, that is the outcry of Nigerians like you and me. They are very difficult to own up when they commit blunder. It's very unfortunate. I think that the Minister of Justice Attorney General should resign because he doesn't know his job. He's putting Nigeria in a very big tight corner before the outside world.
Thank you, Robin. That's a minute. I forgot to mention you have just about a minute to share your thoughts. Lugaman calls from HA. Hello, Lugaman.
Yeah, Oracle Chinedu, I greet you from HA.
I greet you too. You have a minute.
You see, Mr. President, for me, what he did is purely political. For him to pardon someone and later he came again, say because of outcry of people. Who told him? Oracle, the removal of fuel subsidy has been biting Nigeria since the assumption of this government. And the people were crying, including me. Everybody on the street were crying. Mr. President never revisited that statement. Now today he's telling us because of our kind of people. That's why now. Maybe you should think of another thing to say. In conclusion, I want to commend the governor. You see, that is what we keep on saying. They should allow this man to work. Now he has resumed. The backlog salaries has been paid, and people are rejoicing. You because of your own personal interest, put state of emergency, somebody was moved for 6 good months, and today the governor is back and is doing.
All right, that's a few seconds above a minute. Emeka calls from Elele. Hello, Emeka.
Yes,
Good afternoon.
I agree.
Can you speak up, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
It's better now. Go ahead.
Okay. About President Tinubu taking a U-turn about the pardon. Do you know that it's an organized crime, an organized fraud from the presidency to the Attorney General of the Federation and the prison controller? Because they pardoned him there. They have target. And I'm calling on the CC and the ICPC under the security agency to investigate office of Attorney General.
I'm sorry, Emeka. I was struggling to hear you. Couldn't make out what you were saying. Let's take a few messages. Good day, Sam. The president removed the criminals from the prerogative list, but removing those names is not good enough. People should be punished for this embarrassing thing. The president should not know the advisors that embarrass the country like this. Timipre should come home and face the investigation panel, as he knows concerning the rumor of the coup. Imao Taka. Well, it is the president's prerogative, right? That's why it's prerogative of mercy. So the buck stops on his table. But the Constitution says he needs to be advised by a council and a committee. But at the end of the day, it's his decision. So he would have to take a large part of that responsibility. Presidency does not deserve to be appreciated or clapped for because no one has been sacked for that initial erroneous pardon list. Someone needs to face consequences for that fraudulent pardon list before we applaud. For having a listening ear, no one is getting fired, I can assure you. Why is it that our politicians always deny allegation leveled against them? Once such happens, I know the allegations are true. The government has denied, but we, the common masses, know something of such happened. Why were military men rounded up? We lie too much in this country, he says, and it's hurting. Chima calls from Rumukuta. Hello, Chima.
Hello, Mr. Oracle.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Oracle, I haven't heard all these things and I haven't read this one we could read. We are supposed to be giving the president, as you have done earlier, kudos. Because one of the things that we understand about good governance is the one that listens to the people. Even it is also written in the Bible that the God heard their cry and have mercy upon them. Now, if something had happened and different attacks from different places, even people called in this radio station, which I wasn't one of them that called against it, but the government has also heard and went back to review the list. Isn't it something that we are going to say this is an exemplary thing that he listens? And instead of us to begin to castigate him for even doing it, and like the fact that he has done before, he was not left it like that and maybe he don't die a natural death. And he went back and did some consultation according to how the constitution demands it, and he came with this other one now. To me, I would say it is very, very okay. Now, in the issue of the coup, my brother man, it will be very, very disappointing that if after this coup will be truth, and those of us that are from the southern extra is among. Now, there's another speculation that they have even placed money from the NDDC, whatever. It is very bad now.
Thank you, Chima. Let's a minute. Clinton calls from Bori. Hello, Clinton.
Samurago, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
What I will say here concerning the pardon, I think that, but for the fact that the president went back to review this, it means that he has the government of Mr. Pre has a human face. Yes, Nigerians cried out when that decision was taken because they felt that some of those names were not worthy of pardon. Yes, we know that there is nobody that cannot be pardoned. But in this case, Nigeria, a lot of Nigerians reacted negatively to this particular move by the government. In the past, there's some governments that will not even concern themselves with the feelings of the people. They will just go ahead with it, but this government decided to review it. How be it, I am not happy about it because before the president will sign, the advisors are supposed to review that list before they send it to Mr. President. They did not do that. So I think that those that were responsible for advising the president, they should go down.
Okay.
That is the needed thing to be done there.
All
then
right.
on the issue of the governor paying backlog.
That's a minute, Clinton. I'm sorry, I have to let you go. Also, I have a break. So I will return after that break. Please stay with us.